It's a button, not a switch.
It's your own
By the
time you're
way-
wasting.
By the way, if your girlfriend laughs at that, you can't.
What can't the boyfriends do, Smug, huh? Hello everyone, welcome to the Encore's podcast. I'm Sozo.
I'm Arashu.
I'm Smug.
I'm Cyan.
Yeah, since Cyan doesn't want to go third.
Shut up!
Shut up, Smug.
So today we are talking about indie animation in general. We were gonna do this about Digital Circus, but let's be real, that episode's just gonna be like 15 minutes, because quite frankly, most of the whole conversation would have been what is up with fandoms and everything, what would have been like what is the problem with it. But after about, let's say a rough estimate of 16 years of seeing what fandoms are like on the internet, is it really any mystery now of what the issue is?
No.
It is.
Because just at this point, it's just the whole beating a dead horse with a...
Look,
Yeah.
it's one of three reactions. One is either, oh my god, like, what how could fandoms act like this? This is so toxic. Two is, I mean, it's the internet, what do you expect? And three is generally like, well, they're doing it for like attention and everything, and I mean, but at the same time, it's just like, oh, I mean, it's improper for you to say this, and it's just like not fair because I mean, that only speaks on behalf of the minority, not the entire fandom is toxic. Yada yada yada. Look.
You think so abstract?
I'm putting a stop to this right fucking now. I'm gonna be blunt because I'm sick and tired of dealing with this shit. Like, people are doing this because they don't want to change, and people who do this shit have no intention to change. And if you're pissed off by that in any regard and everything, you're proving me right. So if you want to prove me wrong, maybe, I don't know, start being fucking rational regarding the fandoms and everything. Don't start doxing people. Don't start sending death threats to creators just because you disagree with their works. And don't start hating a work just because it ended the way you didn't want it to because it doesn't line up with your fan fiction.
Personal favorite.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
Like,
What I was
don't
gonna
get me
say-
started on how the fandom reacted to the finale of Amazing Digital Circus. Just Jesus Christ.
However, if you are one of those rare few like us that just look at a fandom like you're Tom looking up from a newspaper at the ceiling, congratulations.
Or like Janora looking up from her book. I make no such promises.
But no, it's like you've already addressed it that most people just refuse to change, but those that either are sensible or the fact that some people do want to change, you're like, oh God, I'm turning into them.
Like,
There is hope for you yet.
I understand. Look, if you're one of those fans or one of those people that are listening to this and know about this stuff already, you're very likely have heard it all at this point. And so, yeah, I'm not gonna point the finger at you. But as a fucking community that should absolutely know better since the fucking beginning of the internet and everything, I have lost all faith.
Yeah.
I know I've sent that to you as a joke, Sozo, but it is kind of dark, like ironic in a way, isn't it?
Look, I'm gonna cap this off and we're gonna move on to our actual thoughts about original animation because I do have some thoughts because I've seen a lot of talk and whatnot about original animation and everything, but I want to cap this sort of talk about the fandom and everything with my favorite story or experience in the last month. I want to talk about the first time I went to theaters in 6 years.
Oh boy.
So,
Oh boy.
let me set the stage. Digital Circus announces its finale for June and everything, June 4th, and it's like, it's gonna be in theaters. Now, I didn't think much of actually seeing it because I'll keep it a buck and I'll get more into it. I don't really care that much for Digital Circus. I think it's a good series. I think it's a good take on I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. But, is it my favorite? Nah, it's not really. I can think of a number of other series I like a lot more, both fan-made and like actual on national TV and everything, that aren't Digital Circus. But I figured that the internet was gonna spoil this shit day one, which surprisingly, spoilers have actually been kind of light. But I was kind of anticipating the whole Homer Simpson walking out of the theater. Who knew that Darth Vader was Luke's father? Oh, thanks for a spoiler, asshole! I was expecting this. So, I pre-ordered my ticket a month in advance. I didn't think much of it. Days go by, so on and so forth, and it's June, and I get an alarm, and I'm like, oh right, that's right, the theater premiere is going to be this week. So it's been my first trip to theater in about, again, 6 years, because since the last film that I ever saw in theaters was the second My Hero Academia film, and this was a high school reunion with my friends, and we were having a good time, and then COVID hit. So 6 years later, I'm just like, you know what? I haven't been to theaters in like so long. I miss it. So I take a shower, I put on deodorant, I get dressed. I'm wearing like just normal clothes, a hoodie, some jeans, like some pants, and just some shoes. Just normal stuff, because I was like, I don't know, I don't really have any like merch, like shirts or anything for this series, but it's just like, fuck it. I know. I went into this as casual as possible. Takes about a half hour to get to the theater. Fine. Not fine in this economy with that gas prices, but fine, whatever. I show up, I show the vendor my ticket and everything, and much like all good middle-class citizens, I snuck in my food because y'all be damned if I'm paying fucking how much money for a bucket of popcorn?
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
At this point, I am 100% convinced movie theaters know this and they don't care. They're just like, look, as long as I don't see it, I don't know about it. But anyway, I show up. You know, it was a 30-minute drive, so I was like, I don't know. I wanted to show up a little early. I showed up, I think, like 15 minutes or so earlier than it's supposed to be premiering. The theater's not even showing commercials yet. So I show up, and there's one other person conveniently sitting next to my seat. Now, I wanted to show up somewhat early because, I don't know, I just hadn't been to theaters in a long time. I was kind of excited. And also, I thought that somebody might have stolen my seat, so I just wanted to get there and be like, no, bitch, I paid for this. You gonna move your feet. I get there's someone else there. I don't pay much attention to them at first, but I just walk up and I sit, and they're like right next to my seat. I'm like, just minding my own business. And first thing they say is, so, you here for the Digital Circus finale? Now I'm thinking, man, me showing up on the day the Digital Circus finale is in theaters, in a theater airing the Digital Circus finale, I could very easily be like, no, man, I'm just here for Grown Ups 3.
I'm here for you, man.
I'm here for Click 2.
Yeah, scary movie.
God.
This isn't the theater for scary movie.
Remastered
This is a
specifically.
theater for a Disney movie.
This isn't the theater for Freddy Got Fingered.
Oh
Oh,
God.
baby.
But I was just trying to be polite. And I was just like, yeah, I'm here for the theater and everything. I was like, oh man, yeah, that's cool. I'm like, I don't know. I showed up here and this is what I was talking. This is just a conversation with them. I was like, I don't know. I showed up here because I just figured that the internet was gonna spoil this and everything, so I just wanted to, you know, kind of see it for myself before then and everything. And they were like, oh yeah, I know how you feel. I avoided all the spoilers and everything. I'm like, okay. This is nice, alright. And I lead into them, like, yeah, I mean, like, the internet says that they leaked the whole film and everything, but I mean, like, how do you know? Because that's my thing with leaks, it's just like, it's always educated guesses unless it's, like, leaked by the people who made it. And they immediately respond with, oh no, the leaks are real. Strike one. You just said you avoided all the spoilers. How do you know the leaks are real? So, I'll move on. It's like, what? And it's just like, alright, okay, it is what it is. But yeah, I want to see this without getting spoiled. And then they go off saying, well, I mean, like, look, I'll let you know, but I just don't trust Gooseworks, if anything. I'm like, interesting. I didn't bring her up or anything. But then I responded with, I mean, I don't know. The story is like inspired by I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. Immediately they were like, oh, I love that book! Strike two. Strike two. That tells me you did not read I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. Either that or you're a sociopath.
Could be both.
I Have No Mouth, could be both. I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream by design is not meant to be enjoyed.
It's a cautionary tale.
It's a cautionary tale about artificial
It's a warning.
intelligence. Yeah. It's like saying, oh man, like 1984? Oh, I so am in love with that book. Not what it's intended for. Not supposed to love it. It's supposed to be a cautionary tale about now. But at that point, I was just like, okay, like, yeah, I was just like, all right, I'm just here to watch it and just make my own opinions, regardless of what Gooseworks may or may not have said. I'm just here to make my own opinions, like, and like, okay. So who do you think is gonna abstract? Like,
Oh God.
and I'm playing it cool. I'm like, you know, I mean, because truth be told, I knew, because I saw the preview. I'm like, I fucking know at this point. Anybody without a brain would be stupid enough to think, oh, it obviously was going to be Jax. It was obviously going to be Jax who was going to extract. It had been leading up to that point. But I was just like, you know, could be anyone at this point. They responded with, yeah, okay, but if you had to choose, who would abstract?
God.
Strike three. That is someone that I'm real glad is not on this show, because that's someone who does not care for conversation. And you know, here I was thinking that the solution to being around other people would just, you know, go outside, touch grass and everything, but apparently you can't fucking run. You can't fucking hide. They're everywhere now. They're out in public. And to add insult to injury, to rub salt on the wound. Like I said, I made it clear. I showered, I put on deodorant, I put on new clothes and everything. Just casual. They were rank in the theater. They smelled awful. And I was trying to be a nice person, not saying anything, but God, I couldn't. Oh, I was uncomfortable. And on top of that, they had like a backpack they carried to the theater. They had this winter hoodie and a beanie on, and they had a water bottle that had a bunch of anime themed stickers. And I'm like, I made a profile, but you are a type.
You're stereotype.
It's June. It's fucking June, and you're wearing all of this, and you're carrying all of this. It's just like, you're a type. I'm just thinking, look, at this point, I'm just gonna be blunt. you seem like the type of person who this must have been your first time out in public. You, every other part of the day, you must be terminally online. Like, the fact that they brought up Gooseworks without me having to even mention it or anything, it's just a red flag. But okay. Anyway, that's about my capper on that. That's the first time I went to a theater in 6 years, and I regret it immensely.
You know what? Fair enough.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, there's a change in a story as opposed to the generalization of fandoms are toxic and how do we change it. There's my experience dealing with the fandom.
Bro, how do you have... Okay, so here's the thing. Completely off topic. Well, not really. It is a theater experience, right? So when I went to go see freaking the Mario Galaxy movie with like my nieces, nephews, whatever, because they wanted to go, we had the time, whatever.
Right.
That theater was perfectly fine. Like, there wasn't any weird stitch or anything, and there's like maybe like 50 kids in here, and I was like, how do these kids have a better hygiene than a fully grown adult?
And you want to know something worse too, is that when I went to that finale, I was, no joke, I was sitting in
you were
behind a row. I was sitting with like some kid's dad who brought in there, who I guarantee you the dad probably didn't even watch the show.
No, his dad was holding it.
Someone brought their
His dad
kid
was-
to the Digital Circus finale.
His dad was holding a pen that said M was right.
Hey, you know what? That's a good enough lead-in at this point. Let's talk about the Digital Circus.
We have to.
Must we? Yes, we must.
Alright, here's the thing. I'm not going to make fun of the series. Obviously, I enjoyed it. You know,
It was, look,
I still think it's funny.
I will,
It was
look,
fun.
my main
It's not a series I would go
experience-
back and watch, but
Yeah, my main experience after leaving that theater, all of that shit aside, right? That is just everything around the EXO experience, which is very fitting for this. The actual story and everything. Two things.
It's hard.
One, the reality's gay line, I was the only person in the theater to fucking laugh at.
alright.
Nah, we all busted out laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two, by the end of it, I legitimately left the theater, everything saying, you know what? That was nice. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't, masterpiece or anything. And yeah, there could have been more that they did and everything, but nice. I didn't hate it. I actually went away walking like I was honestly kind of satisfied with that ending.
It's one of those things where you come out of it just, I don't know, feeling better after.
It was all right. It was all right. It doesn't make it my top 10 show, like low 10, but it was fine. Like, and yeah, okay, look, as time has gone on, as like relatively over a week has passed and everything, yeah, there's been a lot of criticism. Some of it valid, a lot of it though blown out of proportion. Like the one thing has been criticized about this series is like, oh my god, the finale spends too much time on Jax, and it's like, if you've only paid attention to the finale, yeah, it spends way too much time on Jax. But if you pay attention to the entire series, like watch it from beginning to end, you realize that out of all the characters in the series, Jax gets the least amount of time focused, and the time that he does is specifically on his one-dimensional side. This is the most we get out of Jax. And the reason for that being is specifically, his character arc is the antithesis of what this series is focused on, which is being true and honest to yourself and opening up to people. And by the end, you see the antithesis of that, because him closing himself off to everybody and never opening up is what led him to abstract.
Also, by the way, I love how I just did it. There's no big scene about it. It's just they just cut and it's happened.
Yeah.
There's no big theatrical, it's changing, it's just no, there he is.
It is. It is. And it's again, and it also goes into an interesting conversation, which I think a lot of people have concluded that abstraction is just an allegory for suicide, which, the way they treat it has a lot of connotations, but here's the thing. Much like the term itself, abstraction can be referred to anything.
Yeah. I was gonna say, is it though? Because he's still perfectly fine.
Yeah, because that's the thing, right? When you look at it from the lens of how the show frames it from episode 1 to the first half of episode 9, it is a metaphor for suicide. Even Pomni has said, what if you do if I were to abstract tomorrow? We're all gonna abstract today, and what will you have left after that, that is a very good connotation to suicide. It has a good focus to suicide. But in the end of it all, abstraction is literally just a new form of life in its own way. Because they're not dead, and they're not they're not morbid corpses or anything. No, they're just transformed into a whole new form. Granted, Kinger and everybody else can't talk to them, but it doesn't change the fact that they're their own entities. It's just it just takes darkness for them to live and thrive.
Right.
And here's the thing, right? Okay. So everybody knows, right?
Yeah.
That it feels like this series accidentally proposed itself as, as the next big mystery series, better figure it out.
Yeah.
It's it wasn't ever that. Yeah.
That's where I will say I think criticism is valid that the show...
Yeah, it did.
The show catered to the wrong audience in that, it got people excited for this big mystery, and this is... Honestly, I can't act like it's entirely blameless, because when this first saw the pilot, I genuinely thought this was going to be like Poppy's Playtime. This was going to be like Five Nights at Freddy's. This is going to be like the Backrooms, where it's this is opening up mystery for so much theory crafting and so on and so forth. And it did. This is it's become a new, at first it was almost like this was trying to market itself as the subversive, family friendly kind of content, where it's trying to be, child coded, where it has all these round shapes and bright colors and everything, but in reality this story is very dark and like fucking adults, and there is, I think, some mixed feelings around regarding this, and I think it's this stigma, and I think it's been parroted a while back. It's this stigma around this idea that Hollywood parrots that animation is for kids and babies, that it can't be for adults. And so, people who are fans of animation will cling to whatever they can to be able to prove that wrong. And ironically, it almost seems like the way that they try to push it is probably the most childish forms of media, that being around violence and sex.
Yeah. Because okay, can we open the can of worms here? And I'll start it because I kind of do.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's a guilty pleasure of mine, right? And the Vivziepop stuff is what leans into that heavily, and that's you don't have to do that if you want to do an adult series. I get you're trying to do,
Yeah.
I get where your series is based, but it's damn. It's you don't really have to have a swear every 2 words for me to remember. It's a mature series.
Partially, I feel like that is contextual, because I think... Look, I can't speak on behalf of Helluva Boss. Or, not, sorry, Hazbin Hotel. But Helluva Boss which is kind of, it leads into the whole thing I'm trying to make of, like, I feel like Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss are basically just one show that Vivziepop is just writing for, and I feel like with Helluva Boss, her writing is more intertwined with that as opposed to Hazbin Hotel.
Here's the problem with Hazbin Hotel, and I'm about to make a lot of enemies, right? The main, the main plot of the series has nothing to do with the series. We literally have went from, okay, it's going to be a series about trying to figure out how to redeem sinners and get them into heaven from hell, right? Because maybe some of these people just didn't get a fair shot in life, right? And, you know, there is, like, very, very minuscule, minor, tiny parts of that. The rest of it, for some freaking reason, is shown in battles in, like, politics. And
This
has nothing to do with the plot.
The only thing I can think of and even remotely close to being this on some level is Angel Dust, but even then, it's just, hey, let's explore Angel Dust. Let's blame Angel Dust and have it. In the sense of, let's explore Angel Dust, but in the sense of, let's make it an allegory for the sex industry.
Yeah, that's the problem, though. They don't really explore him. They just be like, hey, this is what he does. This is his boss. By the way, it kind of sucks.
Yeah, I feel that's also, again, putting it down, because, again, like, here's the thing, right? A lot of people do hate the Poison video because they think it's like, oh god, it's so, like, disgusting and uncomfortable. And it's just like, but at the same time, it's just like, how many pieces of, here's the thing, how many pieces of media, credit where it's due to Vivziepop, how many pieces of media advertise the porn industry and the sex industry as dual-sided as Vivziepop did? That's the bigger question.
No, that's not no. My problem isn't that. The problem isn't that. It is like, it makes me.
Oh, no. I'm not saying that that's your problem or anything. I'm saying that a lot of people, like, it really seems suspicious that a lot of people hate it because they're thinking that, oh, this series is marketing sex as a bad thing. And it's like,
it's marketing a specific type of exploitation as a bad thing.
Yeah,
it's exploitive.
There are a number of actresses and actors who have been very vocal about the porn industry being incredibly dangerous.
It's very exploitative.
There are even some people who have worked in the industry that have actually taken their own lives. It's like, when you realize that, it's just like, it's not like Sunshine and Rebels. Hell, there are stories of people who have been performing in these videos and posted on, like, these websites, but it's been without their knowledge or consent, and so they have been, like, outed as people who have performed these acts for money. It's really fucked up.
Let me put it in a different way, so it doesn't sound like I'm literally just trashing this series, right?
Right.
The series is very fun, right? It's obviously, I like it. I do. I think it's great. But it's the problem that I have with the disconnect is that if you wanted the kind of show this is to be like the latter half of season 1 and the entirety of season 2, you kind of just have to throw your original premise out the window, because, yeah, while this is cool, this is not the original premise of the show.
In its own way, I do feel the same happened to Helluva Boss, but the difference is I think it works better there, is the thing.
Because, I mean, honestly, carrying out the latest episode where it was about an assassination, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, how many episodes are you going to be around just assassinations before it kind of gets a stale formula? I mean, like...
That's the problem with Hazbin, I feel. It's like they didn't even attempt that.
Yeah, and here's the thing with Helluva Boss. I will say, I think its enjoyment entirely banks on whether or not you were a fan of Brandon Rogers' content before this.
Yeah, well, that's really the sticking point.
Yeah,
and I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah, no. Because here's the thing, right? Because I've heard this before. People will see Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss on face value, and they think, oh, this is just what Vivziepop writes. This is all she writes. But it's just like, No.
Also,
Go watch Holidays. Go watch the Zoophobia short she has. Hell, like, in the same vein,
Yeah.
dude, like, go take a look at Far-Fetched, which is a series that's coming out written by the voice of Zooble, Ashley Nichols.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, just saying, you guys do know this show has like several writers, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's
it's
several
not
people
just
that went
busy.
through
Yeah,
this.
it's not just Vivziepop like this, and it's like, you know, this is probably like went past like 7 different people and like had all the checks and balances. Like, hey, is this cool? Are we doing this?
Yeah.
It's like it's not just this is what I want to do and we're doing it now because I said so.
Yeah, and I think
that's
like
not
I think
it.
Vivziepop have also admitted that a lot of her particular writing, like, she tends to lean more towards having characters kind of in a room and being sort of more emotional. So I think a lot of the whole thing of like Blitzo kind of being the comic relief and everything, I would argue is more along the lines of like Brandon Rogers coming in and sort of pitching script like lines and whatnot for Blitzo and whatnot to say.
Yeah. I still do think that I actually hate the series when it's like, hey, wait, why is Smug actually saying that she is excited for season 3? And then she like, yeah, it's like, what? You know, I don't want to give people the wrong impression.
As
Or
much
hypocrite,
as,
or
as
probably.
much as I have genuinely been against Gel Apocalypse and criticized his videos, I will say there is one poignant line from one of his videos that I do like to quote. Just because you like something doesn't mean you can't criticize it for its flaws.
Right.
Mm.
That's the thing. I like the show. I like what it's doing. I like the writing. But it's like, this is not really the premise that the
Yeah.
pilot was about, you know?
Yeah.
And honestly, the pilot wasn't really even about what the show is about.
Yeah. And honestly, that's another lead into. It's just like the whole thing with the pilots and indie animation. There's been this. I feel like among everything, and this is not necessarily humorous, but it's just like but this does lead into sort of what we were kind of watching earlier. But there's been kind of some talk, and I think it's been because of stuff like Digital Circus and Helluva Boston Hotel, in that a lot of people have this idea that indie animation seems to favor therapy talk, which, couple things about that. One, I mean, in comparison to what's been out there, I will say this, there is so much media that is like on national TV and everything that does not give a fuck about therapy, does not give a fuck about treating its characters right. If anything, like, it's like I say, people like characters with trauma, they don't like traumatized characters, and a lot of the media that has been popular over the years is kind of proof of that. And it's not to say that the media in question can't necessarily, like, for example, a lot of comic media, right, with Marvel and DC, it's not to say that that media can't have, like, actual moments where it's like characters seek trauma. It's that it's popular because characters have trauma, and people are like, oh man, I really love this character. Like, for example, an example of this, right? I think it's like Young Justice, but they do have some episodes where it's like, I think it focuses on Beast Boy as a character and him dealing with grief and depression. And they treat it in a realistic way where his friends have an intervention with him and he's not taking any of it. And then he goes to see a therapist and they treat it more like an actual therapy session. So it's like, it's not to say that, you know, there aren't works that can't tackle therapy well, or actual tackle characters with, you know, having them go through therapy. But on the whole, those are exceptions, not the standard. That's the problem. And so seeing a lot of web series and whatnot, because that's what this really is. There's a lot of web series. It's nothing new. But seeing web series tackle, you know, characters and have them actually have therapeutic talks, if anything, I think the fact that we're getting more series like that, I feel should be a positive as opposed to a negative. But the second thing is again, I feel like this is only speaking to the popular crowd of, you only watch Digital Circus, you only watch Helluva Boss, you only watch Hazbin Hotel, and this is the result. Because there's plenty of other indie series and whatnot, other web series that don't really talk about that. Case in point, we just got through binging Bigtop Burger.
Are you gonna take shots? Take sucker shots? I'll take sucker shots about banana cage.
Want to take sucker shots at my banana cage, Bilbo? Let's take them.
Oh, ghost egg. Ghost egg.
Monkey wrench too. Yep. Like there are plenty of series that are old and new coming out that do not like really vibe with the same kind of thing that Glitch has done with Digital Circus, that Spindlehorse has done with those two shows set in hell. For instance, like it's up on the screen, Punch Punch Forever. Punch Punch Forever is a satire of 90s anime. And it's completely and entirely unserious. And it's one of the funniest series I've ever seen, because we were talking about this, how Bigtop Burger has like, you know, maybe some level of improv and everything with some level of plot. And it might be in the script. With something like Punch Punch Forever, I feel like there's improv, but it's specifically with the animation, because how many animation-based jokes and visual gags and whatnot are there in the story and everything? It's just like, that's where I feel there's a lot of improvisation there, and it works.
So, alright, so let's rip the band-aid off. Why do you hate Aaron Hansen?
Yeah, okay.
Why do you hate him?
You knew it was coming.
Okay, look. In the same vein of has a hell of a boss, right? Gameoverse, the pilot, in my eyes, entirely banked. Nah, hell of a boss.
Really?
Yeah, hell of a boss. Because
the pilot boss?
I would even argue the pilot's hell of a boss.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it is very much like, you know, dude, in that pilot, Brandon Rogers steals the show.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, like, about what the show is trying to be about.
I mean, like, even that, I would have to compare that to another show with Gameoverse, but here's the thing, with Gameoverse, like I was saying, with Hell of a Boss, it entirely banks on how you feel about Game Grumps. And if you are eating this up and everything, I think you'll enjoy this a lot more. But if you can absolutely, like, if you think Aaron is unsufferable in Game Grumps, I don't think you'll like this as much.
Yeah, you're not enjoying it.
But if you're like me and you're like, no, I see what they're doing and it's distracting, it can kind of be personal. But my problem among everything, right, is that conceptually speaking, I really think Gameoverse is interesting. The idea of like these calling back to these older games and everything and being like, oh yeah, you're getting to sit on the hero's journey, the hero wins, and then game over, and then everything gets destroyed. Like, that's an interesting idea. I really like that premise. My problem is not the idea itself. My problem is that this whole, like, first couple minutes or so should have been the full pilot. It should have been the pilot, because we should have seen Kat's world from beginning to end and seen what she's went through, and then cut to the whole world being destroyed.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you wanted the pilot to end with her beating her villain, and then everything goes to crap.
Yeah, and then you can, as a nice little teaser, you can have it be like her waking up from the dream, and then just cut to credits. Like, that in and of itself is a really good start for a pilot. The problem I have with the pilot is that it is set up like episode 1 of a full season.
Yeah.
Now, look, I know, and I'm going to say this for a lot of newer generations, because I know for a fact a lot of you don't really watch television anymore. Y'all watch YouTube, y'all watch Netflix, so a lot of you don't. This is kind of lost, and this is kind of a lost understanding, but the point of a pilot, among everything else, is a pitch. It is a pitch to an audience. Hey, here's an idea for a series. Do you like it? For instance, right? Let's bring up some pilots, for instance. Adventure Time, right? The pilot to Adventure Time is a boy and his dog rescue Princess Bubblegum and help out Lady Rainicorn from the Ice King. Some wacky hijinks and whatnot, some chaos, but overall, that is the idea. That's sort of the episode. They save him, and then, you know, like, Finn has a crush on Princess Bubblegum, and, you know, Lady and Jake are kind of like having, fun and everything. But overall, that is sort of the episodic plot.
Oh, you forgot the part where Dan Schneider says, "Get the hell out of my office."
Ah, yes, very important part.
I was getting to that. I also thought you were gonna say you forgot the part where Abraham Lincoln showed up. That was in the pilot, by the way. Go look up the Adventure Time pilot. It's kind of wild. But yeah, Nickelodeon pretty much did not want this. So Cartoon Network picked it up, and it became one of the best-selling shows that won for, I think, 10 seasons?
Something like that.
Yeah, it was...
Nickelodeon was Stevie.
Yeah. It was wild. But my point is, something like that. And then it's just but at the end of the day, that Adventure Time pilot had its structure for national TV, and it worked well for, a television series that Adventure Time would eventually pick it up. And yeah, eventually at some point, it pretty much kind of dropped its initial idea of saving princesses from the Ice King and everything, because it added in more lore, more world building, more depth to the characters. But at the end of the day, that pilot is what led to eventually the show's success getting as big as it was, and eventually it snowballing to something massive that eventually it could be able to manage. And then you have something like stuff that is ultimately lost media, which, let's be real, a lot of us only know because of Zone, the modifiers.
I didn't even know that before or after Zone. I thought that was something she just made up.
Yeah, no, it was a canceled pilot. I forget if it was something on Nickelodeon or the Disney Channel, but it was a canceled pilot it was a James Bond sort of Austin Powers-esque inspired series where you had a double agent spy who was moonlighting as working for the bad guys, and then after that she also has this true ego as this spy. And it was a cool idea, but the problem is that it ended on a cliffhanger that was hey, to be continued. It was just, and that to me I think is what really sunk it, is that the idea was banking on, hey, we already have more episodes planned in mind, let's get this rolling.
Yeah.
And
it was it's Mora putting a teaser for Kingdom Hearts 2 at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1. I don't know that this is gonna change on. Why are you putting a teaser for the sequel in this game?
Yeah, the ball's on this guy.
And to those who don't know, it's like the Onimusha 2 on PS2. It's like seeing that trailer for Oni 3, even though it had been made at the same time, no one had known whether or not 2 was gonna sell.
Yeah,
but
it's
but then you also have a bunch of other pilots too to shows that you wouldn't imagine have ultimately gotten this pilot. For instance, the SpongeBob pilot. I believe the nematodes episode, or no, it was not the nematodes.
So.
Anchovies. It was the anchovies episode.
Anchovies, yeah.
Yeah, where he was getting help. Anchovies. Yeah, it was an interesting idea, and it pretty much it had a core just episode structure and everything, and of course, as we know, for better or worse, it became this massive cash cow.
Yeah, and fun fact, that is the last episode that Mr. Krabs and Squidward are friendly with each other, and the first and the last one.
Yeah, there's also a pilot that, while it did grow into its own thing, it kind of stayed true to itself. The Chicken from Outer Space.
That's a good poll, dude.
Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
Oh, you could go on about freaking. Here's these little side gags about cartoon shows and stuff, and then it became its own thing. The monkey from freaking Dexter's Lab got its own show eventually.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, dude, the Billy and Mandy pilot.
That was an evil Con Carne, and they were trying to really promote Con Carne, and it's Billy and Mandy just took off instead.
Yeah. Invader Zim's pilot too, Avatar's pilot, dude, Chowder's pilot.
Chowder's pilot is goated.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Also, the fact that Michael Clark Duncan, I believe, was voicing Schnitzel instead of H. John Benjamin. Or wait,
Rather,
no, John DiMaggio. Sorry, H. John Benjamin is the Boss Burgers guy.
and if you want to know what chowder is, oh, I'm sorry, who are you? How do you not know?
I'm sorry, bro. Get back in elementary school.
Yeah, literally.
Bro, pass the tablet back to your parents. All right. Give it to
Let's
someone
put
who
that
actually
on
knows
for
what
you.
I'm talking about.
Right. No, let's watch it.
Yeah.
I have to get ready to go. So, and I will say, I understand the plot. I really like Monojarns, okay?
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye.
My favorite part of that show is literally when they're like, "Oh, we run out of budget," it just starts to live action.
I kind of find it
Well,
funny
they're in the
that,
recording booth.
I kind of find it funny that Cyan was just here and barely said much of anything.
Well, then decided to shut up, so.
I mean, at least Arashi pitched in with courage.
It's true.
I mean, to be fair though, yeah,
I know,
you're right.
I know.
You
Would
have to
it
muscle
make a
in.
difference if I talked about her thing with Jury?
That is not got anything to do with indie animation unless you're talking about specific animations. I guess you could count those as the indie animations.
But yeah, among everything else, it's like, that's the problem. But among everything else, with those pilots in mind, that's kind of the lens I'm seeing this with Gameoverse, is that this doesn't feel like a series that is pitching a pilot. This feels like a series that is already, like, their pitch is, hey, we already have this idea for a full show. We're going to give you episode 1. It's like, you know, say what you will about, you know, Digital Circus's pilot. At the very least, it set itself up
was
for...
funny.
It was funny, and it set itself up for a decent structure to get greenlit. And
Why do you swear?
why do you swear now? You parasite!
See, he gave us stuff like
They
that.
came to say ass.
Are we just not going to address that?
Yeah. And
But I do see where you're coming from.
yeah, and like, it's just like, I feel like if this was done differently, Gameoverse, I feel like I could like it more. But the fact that, one, that whole structure with the pilot, and two, again, there's a number of things where it's like, if you're aware of Game Grumps and Aaron, it's very clear that it's just venting, because like, hey, you know, maybe instead of shooting where they are, you should shoot where they're going to be, and then just the alien going, I know what I'm doing! The like the flappers meeting the final boss is just like, hey, can we skip the monologue and just fight to the fight? Which also, by the way, friendly reminder, if this series does get greenlit, you're going to have to deal with Aaron doing stupid voices for an entire show, and it having to be taken seriously. It's not the, you know, him being told just, I am bad to your work today! Do you want me to make you back already? It's not the him making... It's not him doing the angry video game nerd voice from Mickey Mousecapade or anything. It's none of that. It's going to be a scripted show with those voices that, mind you, with the pilot in mind, you have to take it seriously.
I want to play Call of Duty, shoot a man.
Yeah, you're not really going to get that, unfortunately. And here's the thing, right? If you thought on some level, oh, their voices are annoying, imagine it for an entire fucking season.
Imagine it for like 9 more episodes of 20 minutes.
As it grows louder and louder, and you hear, this is what you wanted, right?
Yeah,
we reference a lot of video games. If anybody got that, I'm sorry. The D cut, okay?
Yeah, that. Which, funny enough, I haven't even bothered to watch that pilot at all.
I never either did. I just find that one little bit
That
of the
one
short
video
funny.
where it's like taking the fucking cartoon dragon from Gameoverse back and just beating the shit out of him.
Just Hello, Raven, of Untaunted. I don't know why it's so funny to me.
It just comes out of fucking nowhere.
They really do. It just start freaking brutal on through the dinosaur.
And it's just like, again, it's just like, that's the problem I have. It's just like, among everything else, it's just like, I don't see this being as good as a lot of Rule 34 artists are making it out to be. Let's be real here. That's probably the biggest reason why this is popping off as much as it is, because Rule 34 artists,
I would absolutely answer.
Rule 34 artists are popping off with it. And
speaking of something I beat for, I'm just kidding. I mean, he does.
But other than that, I mean, like, if there is a show that I'm actually really glad is, I'm glad to look into it and find out that it got greenlit for a full season. Knights of Guinevere.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, you talk about the complete opposite of what Gameoverse is doing, because it's written by somebody who has actually had who's actually had their show be on national television. So they at least have some understanding and some inkling of how a pilot's supposed to go.
This is true.
Mr. Disney, can we please hit season 4? You can.
Right. All right. We'll make our own season.
We will treat you better than those shit fucks down the street.
Can we please have a movie? How about you bend over and suck it?
Yeah, Knights of Guinevere is...
That was pretty much...
Yeah,
that was
Knights
pretty
of
much how
Guinevere
they
is
treated
just
her.
a fucking call out to Disney, but it's interesting because the way they handle it, and I love this too, the way they handle it is that, yes, it's obvious it's a call out to Disney, but it's just also like, imagine if this
It's a good
wasn't...
series.
But imagine if this wasn't Disney, you know? Imagine if Disney never existed. This would still be a fantastic commentary on corporations and how the corporations that cater to nostalgia, and essentially it hits that same kind of mark that Venture Bros did for me, in that it does a great job of focusing on the disillusioned and the illusioned.
My favorite tweet that they had made, and I don't know if it still exists somewhere, maybe not, but it was so funny. It was that, hey guys, we know this is a little awkward, but why some Knights of Guinevere merch? I don't want to criticize Disney, but like everyone was like doing fun with it. It's like, hey, you're indie animation. Of course you need it. Yeah, it was just funny. It's like, I know we just kind of like made fun of them for doing the same exact thing, but
I know this is awkward. But...
It's just like, also at this point, it's just like, hey, look, if Disney can't take a show criticizing them, it's just like, how have you lasted for over 100 years at this point?
How
I made Wish. That's how I read that.
Like, it again, it's just like, it I really do, like, because here's the thing, right? Among everything, and this is something that I refuse to actually show you guys. I don't even know if you know it. I doubt it. But there is this proof of concept series that it's not even a series. It's proof of concept, like, video that I think was supposed to be maybe a pilot for it, but it's a bunch of storyboards. And it's a video called Becky Prim. Have you seen it?
Yeah. No, absolutely not.
It's a video that occasionally pops up on my timeline and everything. But
okay.
So, you know how I was talking, like, we've seen the Venture Bros, right?
Yeah.
Like, we consider that more or less a good center or focus on, like, nerd culture and everything?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Consider Becky Prim the antithesis.
Really?
It is very... I don't know if this is before or after, but it very gives me the vibe of, like, it's going for the Rick and Morty school of being a cynical asshole makes you funny. It's going for the school of, like, if we make harsh call-outs to everybody and everything, and not provide any, like, and say that we don't like anything, and make a lot of, like, fucking harsh, like, call-outs and everything, it's funny. Like, there is a character in this series that is just, you know, textbook cartoon nerd. But it's just like, imagine the most Newgrounds-esque kind of jokes that you could make with a nerd.
Oh, yeah.
And the main character being this girl that he's in love with.
Cheers.
Yeah, if you guessed incel jokes, you'd be right.
Girl.
And like at some point, like they do this wacky plot of her being in purgatory with Lizzie Borden of all people. I don't know for the love of God why, but it feels. Here's the thing: it feels like it's trying to tap into the same kind of atmosphere that Daria did. The problem, though, is that Daria's commentary was very poignant due to it being written by people who graduated high school and are in adulthood and are making the series like in retrospect.
Right.
That was the point of it.
That's the key right there.
Yeah, the thing about it feels more like it just feels like the series, like the characters at least, are written to be just assholes with no redeeming qualities. Like, I don't. And that's kind of the thing, is just like among everything, it's just like when you cut to Knights of Guinevere,
yeah,
this feels
very...
like a series that among everything else understands the characters that you know that they love. Like, keeping in the realm of Disney, right? There's characters that do love Disney. They're nostalgic for this shit. They love it. And then there's people that get the chance, Dana Terrace, to work for Disney, and they get the boot for no fucking reason whatsoever. And they get complete disillusioned by the fucking illusion because they've had a chance to work for it, and they realize, yeah, it fucking sucks.
And then you see all these other people that don't even know what crap you've gone through, like, still in love with it. And it's like, and you realize it's not their fault, but a part of you does start to resent them. Because, like, well, if you would stop, you know, if you would stop supporting this, then maybe we could actually change it for the better. And it's like, yeah, I get it, but at the same time, they're not really hurting anybody. They don't know how the sausage is made, you know?
Yeah. And at the same time, it's also, again, they do a level of commentary on that, because Frankie, the character that's incredibly illusioned by that, is borderline kind of, like, again, delusional and kind of going through it where it's just like, there's this subconscious idea that she knows the dream is dead, but she's still clinging onto it for some kind of level of optimism or hope.
Oh,
it's kind of the it's kind of the vibe that I think a lot of people who are fans of like anything nostalgic, Nickelodeon and Disney and so on and so forth,
Cartoon Network and
Cartoon
everything,
Network, everything else.
Well, you can literally even say it extends even beyond animation, like even like AAA gaming. You know, we have people who are so delusional in their obsession that this hobby is not on fire right now and burning to the ground.
I remember
they're literally.
when when companies like EA and Ubisoft ruled the fucking world, dude.
Yeah, and this entire industry is on fire right now.
Yeah.
It is. We have people that are paying scalpers for a digital-only product.
Yeah.
Just so they can make sure that they get a code, despite it. The only way you're getting it is on the PlayStation Store or the Xbox, already on your console.
I think it's them trying to I think it's them trying to mega Giga Chat brain this without remembering that one pivotal part, because they think if I don't give my money to these companies, they don't make a penny. But dude, like, how
they made it because the scalper bought it. Yeah.
And they didn't even buy it for you; they bought it for themselves.
Yeah, it's so crazy. And then you have these weirdos, and I'm going to say they're weirdos. I'm sorry, they are. You have these weirdos online bashing indie games left and right for no reason other than that they're indie games.
Chelsea.
Yeah. It's so crazy. There's no reason for you to be hating the indie scene unless it's like, I mean, the creators are actually awful people or something. But like, there's no reason to hate Hollow Knight or hate any of these freaking
Hating Hollow
indie
Knight,
projects.
hating Windblown, hating Hades,
Yeah.
hating fucking like
Literally
Owl.
half of my left. Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
reason.
Y'all just want to.
Yeah, but yeah, again, like it wraps itself back around to it's like there are people that like there are still people like even in Knights of Guinevere that much like Frankie cling to this fantasy that like it can be like my childhood and everything. But it's also this mixture of like trying to be in denial that like I mean Frankie in the pilot is working this dead end multiple jobs on the clock and scooping up garbage and everything and repurposing into merchandise. It's like she is stuck looking at the park as like, oh yeah, someday I'm gonna get up there and I'm gonna work there. And it's
Which all.
we were bringing up
also-
the gaming industry. It's same thing with the music industry, the entertainment industry in general.
It's so interesting, dude. 'Cause do you know what the biggest game, one of the biggest games of all time was? It's Final Fantasy VII. And guess what a major plot point of that is? Inequality in classes. Because you
Yep.
have the upper people of Midgar, and then you have the lower section. There's literally a music track in the game called Beneath the Ronnie Pizza.
And that's just one of the more recent ones that's coming out with part 3. One of the more one of the other games that like ultimately take a shot at like the entertainment industry in general and everything. Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah,
It absolutely
does.
is the exact same kind of like a aspiring person who wants to be someone big in the world, wants to be this big mega celebrity and everything, and has to deal with the reality of what the company is and what they're doing.
Oh yeah, because by the way, you fight the literal CEO of this corporation at the end of the game. Spoiler alert.
You fight the CEO, you fight the marketing department, you fight the finance department, you fight the
Q&A.
creative, you fight the creative you fight the creative directors and everything who have no sense of like limitations and everything. Like
I'm starting to see why Xbox closed the studio down.
Yeah. No, that's not too on the
and
nose,
then,
is it?
and then
It might be
depending on how it go, and depending on if they can come out with fucking Hi-Fi Rush 2, it might just be a case of, I wouldn't say saved, I would say more like under new management.
That is the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
yeah,
Crafted
sure.
is oh
Look,
boy.
Like, I'm glad that Tango Gameworks didn't just up and die, but I don't know. I really
Same
feel like they
time-
could pull an Expedition 33.
They probably could, honestly.
I mean, with the amount of money they made off of Evil Within alone, you know?
You know, it's so funny that we've been talking about Glitch Productions so much, and we literally keep neglecting their redheaded stepchild, which was ironically one of their first big series they did.
Yeah, Murder Drones.
Yeah.
Murder Drones.
Yeah. You sound so
There's actually-
enthusiastic to talk about this one.
This
No,
actually,
don't get me wrong.
no, because you do have a point. There's actually like a handful of series that they have made that have like come and gone, honestly, and not a whole lot of people really talk about them.
To this day,
Right.
people are still waiting for the Gaslight District.
Mm.
Or did it even exist?
No,
just got
that's
gaslit.
what it is. It's gaslighting.
It's in the name!
Yeah, you're being gaslit. I mean, yeah, stupid.
Stupid. But yeah, there's Gaslight District. It's-
There was that one like pilot with it was like Wild West. It was like the Scorpion chick or something, right? What was that?
The Wild West. Oh,
It was like
I know what you're talking about. The
yeah,
Yeah.
the name's lost on you now too, isn't it?
It's
Need to
like
find the name.
Wild something. It's
yeah. It sounds like I think I gotta pull it up.
but anyway, yeah. There's
I mean,
There's also a number of like pilots that also have gone, either nowhere or have gone in different directions. Like, for instance, me and Smug were watching yesterday Obituary, A Grave Beginning. Like,
Oh yeah, that's fun.
that was a fun little pilot, and they reportedly pitched it to Nickelodeon, Disney, and Cartoon Network. None of them wanted it. So they said, you know what, we'll just make we'll just make our own.
I apologize to inform you this, but Cartoon Network doesn't care about you unless you're extremely weirdly quirky and you're insufferable.
That explains why it's the Teen Titans Go Hour.
I know they have other shows, but like, it's so weird how their shows fall into the same category as Sony's first-party exclusives.
Oh god.
Yeah, man, I love watching.
That's it.
Yes, I just love watching.
Whoa, hang on, time out, pause. You heard it here first, though. You clipped that. He said he loves watching.
Cliffside, that's the pilot.
Okay.
Yeah,
we're
it's
just gonna
been 8
ignore
years
that. Okay.
since
Yeah.
it even bothered with or anything. Yeah, and they worked on Murder Drones. Yeah, so I think Cliffside was just like a one-shot idea that went nowhere. Or, I don't know, maybe they have done something, but I don't know. Murder Drones, I think, has just been what they've been sticking with.
I can't, okay, you know, or, Gaslight District. Or was that even really a thing? I mean, you know, I said, look at the name here. It says Gaslight.
Yeah, and I did bring it up earlier, Far-Fetched. It's a series done by Ashley Nichols and Dave Cataville. And yeah, Ashley Nichols is the voice of Zooble in The Amazing Digital Circus. There's not really a whole lot on it, unfortunately, but that said, it has been, I think, greenlit for, like, at least a full pilot. Like, they did a Kickstarter and get it funded. But from what we've seen, like, there's, like, some stuff like teasers and previews and whatnot of what we can kind of hope to see in the show, kind of proof of concept. It looks interesting. I think it has, I don't know, I look at it and it's like, it has a little more, like, it has sort of Vivziepop's art style in a lot of ways mixed with, like, different writers, which is kind of interesting, and I think I don't know, I would have to see how it would turn out, but for the most part, I do think it looks creative. I think it looks cool, and I honestly just can't wait to see it.
Also, we have not mentioned Lackadaisy at all.
Yeah, there's a lot. Here, to be fair, I mean, out of all these pictures, and I mean, these are only a handful, there are so many animated pilots, like, people
There's
have
so
no
many.
idea.
Oh yeah, there's a lot to
Like
keep track of.
Lackadaisy, I remember we watched that for the first time, and dude, it was really well drawn. I love the animation and everything. It's
I could not tell you a single joke that they told, though.
I remember one, and that's only because it was a shot at someone we know. This is going to take too long if you keep chasing them. What happened to you that made you hate fun? Oh, I paused it, and I legit, without a shadow of a doubt, just said, Sky.
Gosh.
I just heard it. I hear it, and I immediately think, "Yeah, son of a."
Yeah, and here's the thing, it wasn't really. Here's the thing, it wasn't really funny. It was more along the lines of just kind of. It was more along the lines of kind of like a goofy serial piece around the 1920s with cats.
Okay.
Yeah, just. I mean, you know what? Hey, if it works for them, it works for them. So I ain't even gonna argue.
It doesn't work for me. That's the problem. Everything's catered to me.
How fucking dare you not cater to me?
But I like that thing. I really like that thing.
Oh!
There are people who insist who like that thing.
But I really like this thing. I don't like that thing.
Oh.
I like that thing.
I hate that thing.
It's
But-
not.
There's so many fucking pilots we can talk about. Like one, and and I wanted to bring this up, and it's been circling around in the fucking the stream for a while, but definitely if I were to talk about like indie animation, I know technically speaking, since he got an actual animation studio and an official anime composer to do it, but considering it released on the internet, I don't fucking care. It's for all I care, it's like an indie animation. Baan.
Oh yeah.
It was a
Excellent.
like, even to this day, I haven't seen it much, but it is a very beautiful short. It's a very beautiful short. I still remember it. It's very, like, it's an interesting idea that you can absolutely tell is inspired by the creator's real life. Because if I recall, Gigguk, aka Garnt, he essentially kind of went out into the world on his own and sort of explored and had his own kind of journey, and a lot of things happen, and he sort of put that more into this concept, and along with that also I believe a number of references to his own culture, because I believe he's Southeast Asian.
Yes.
Yeah, so and it's really interesting because fundamentally he did very little to innovate on the idea of isekai, but it's not necessarily how different the world is, but more so just the execution, because the idea of taking individuals and swapping them from the worlds and having them live their own lives, essentially as it's treated as, you know, going out into the world and sort of self-discovery or making a living or anything. Like, it's really done very well. Like, you see the human character is like just going to the fantasy world and sort of, yeah, his parents are against it because it's incredibly dangerous and everything, but he ultimately has to do this himself, and he explores and he starts making a living for himself. He meets a woman, and they start dating and eventually having kids. Then the girl who travels from the fantasy world to the real world, she starts living on her own. She starts taking this job at a phone company and makes a living, so on and so forth, and she starts enjoying. It's just like, it's a really beautiful story about two people from different worlds sort of living their own lives. And at the same time, it's also like the fact that, and this is what I love too, is that the problem I have with a lot of isekai series, among everything, is that they romanticize suicide. This is not that. This is actually traveling to a different world, like it's actual travel. Like, they can go, it's never said that, you know, oh, they can only stay in that world. No, they can come and go as they please. But it was such a very beautiful short. It was, and if it ever got picked up for an actual anime or anything, I wouldn't necessarily complain all that much.
Yeah, me neither, especially after hearing about it from here.
I don't know. Here's the problem I have with that, though. I don't know what, like, I don't know what concessions would be made in order to get that to happen. You know? That's where I worry about it.
Alright, look, if, among everything, I don't think because here's the thing, right? The way this even happened to begin with is Gigguk funded it himself. It's entirely funded by himself. He didn't, like, get some extra reserve money from a network or anything. No, he funded this by himself, and that was all he could be able to manage with the money he had. So, my thought process is, maybe, like, if they put, I don't know, maybe if we were to start, like, a Kickstarter or fund something, maybe they could make, like, a comic or, like, a manga around this story, and he could help write it and everything. And from there, I think it would be a lot more easier for a studio in Japan to pick it up and adapt it.
Because the last thing you want is for this pilot to be as good as it is, and then pick it up and be like, oh, look, and now it's freaking Battle Shonen. Everything would
honestly, I'm fine with this being like a slice of life story. I'm fine with it being a slice of life story because I think it fits well with that mold.
Oh no, it absolutely does.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just sometimes when you want to, corporations want you to play ball, they'll go for mass market appeal.
Mm,
You know, it's
yeah.
like, can we change this and this and this? And it's like, well, it's not even my vision
thing
anymore. Yeah.
And at the same time, we also don't know how the like that industry over in Japan also works, because all we really know for the most part is if it's popular, there will be heads of these industries that will be like, keep it going. That's all we really know.
Yeah, but that's also where I worry, because it's like, how much can you push? How far can you push this idea before you start getting on my nerves? Is the thing, you know? It's
I
like,
at the very
this is
least
not even.
could say that this is worth maybe like as a whole series, like 12 episodes, 12, 13 episodes, like a one course series season.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's about as good as I can say it. But ultimately, I mean, hey, there's also the possibility of, like you were saying, you know, it's also a possibility of it being picked up and it being like, man, I really wish like the pilot was just all we got. But hey, I mean, if the pilot is all we got among everything else, and it's just like there's not really a whole lot of directions for it to take, I mean, hey, at least we got something out of it.
Okay, well, you know, it's easy to sit here and play armchair creator, you know? Because it's like, I mean, yeah, like, I mean, hypothetically, anything could freaking happen, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, it could be amazing, and they could, like, get complete creative control, and it gets 3 seasons, and it doesn't ever get ruined. But then it's like, it can also get, like, 12 episodes, and that's completely nothing like the pilot, and it's completely awful, you know?
Yeah. And also to make things clear, just because something is not like the pilot or the concept or anything doesn't automatically make it bad. It just means
Oh,
it's like,
no, absolutely not. It's just,
you know,
it's
you
different.
can twist. I mean, for instance, like to bring it back up, like Avatar: The Last Airbender, dude, Zuko in the pilot had a fucking raven.
Okay, see,
They got rid of that shit.
I always forget that. And when somebody brings it up, I think I'm being gaslit. And I'm like, and then I go and look, and then I go and look it up, and I was like, no, that's a thing. And I was like,
No,
what?
what happened? Wait, what?
Yeah, it always catches me
Just had
off
a
guard
pet
because I
raven
forget
because he
it.
wasn't edgy enough.
He wasn't. He didn't test very well with the audience.
Bullshit.
That's another series. This is another series we haven't talked about. Milky Subway.
No, he should.
That
Yeah,
is-
I mean, I love it.
That
I love
was,
it so
dude,
much.
like, I mean, we're talking about, like, this series is, like, just, in my eyes, among everything that's, like, anime or anime-centered, it is so, especially the writing, so unlike a lot of it, because a lot of the, like, a lot of the comedy in anime, for instance, will be very akin to something like Konosuba. It's, character says this, character says this, character says this, character says this, character says this. But in this, no, characters are talking over one another. Like,
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
yeah. And a lot of the punchlines are they feel very, like, natural. It's like two guys get, like, just a fucking truth serum injected into whatnot, disguised as candy and everything. It's just like, all right, make sure not to say anything. So, is your boss a male or female? Female. Damn it! I love the one scene in the train where it's like they have that one robot with a fucking trank dart.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay,
Yeah.
I can't take this. He's playing loud music, annoying music. It's like, I can't just, all right, look, all right, picture this. This is me. All right, this is me right here. And this is you. This is you right here. This is you. And then we're going to do this. We're going to do that. All right. And then you're going to come in and then do this, do that. And I got, wait. All right, break. Open the door. Get shot. Son of a...
It's
Oh.
great.
I love it so much.
Yeah, it's like, and again, that's another thing too, is like, you know, a number of, like, I don't know if it's, in my eyes, I don't know necessarily if it's fair at this point to call Glitch an indie studio, because at this point it almost feels like they're
Right.
another network that's green.
It feels like they're a production team.
Yeah, but it's like, It really does feel like the
But
series
yeah.
like Milky Subway, like Bigtop Burger, you know? It feels like these series are entirely indie because they have a full lifespan and they're kind of self-produced.
But it also does bring up an interesting question of what do you qualify as indie then? Because
Yeah.
technically, Super Giant is indie, but they have like an entire
Yeah.
team.
And
You know, they're like,
Oh.
it's like Baan team, but like, what is it, 700 people?
in the
Yeah,
same
then you
vein,
have-
I've always kind of categorized more or less like indie games as just kind of mainly PC first games, honestly. Because that's kind of really where it shows up. Indie companies are not going to PlayStation or Xbox or Nintendo for their game on the whole at first. Those are games that get ported, sure, but it usually comes to PC first, mainly because of Steam and early access. So in my eyes, I feel like, I say indie animation, and I think it's been a popular phrase that's been coming up as of recent, but reality, a lot of these are just web series. A lot of them are web series. In short, you have a series like Hazbin Hotel that gets picked up by Amazon, which at that point, I think
It's not indie.
It's not indie anymore, especially considering I don't think even the series is on YouTube.
No.
Yeah,
No,
it's
no.
not really indie anymore. And then there's also Digital Circus, which, yeah, it's on YouTube, but it's also on Netflix.
Yeah, you can't really
Yeah.
call it indie.
It's the
anymore.
same. It was the same back with Ruby. Ruby was a web series that got it initially got shown on Netflix, but then Rooster Teeth went, yeah, let's privatize it so we can make more money off of it. And then they went bankrupt.
Yeah, because that went so well.
And then they came back and their creator talking about on the light, and he said, what the
Back
hell?
for getting milk. What the hell happened?
What happened here?
By the way, I haven't heard much of anything from them, even though they're supposed to be rebranding.
Probably because there's nothing going to happen, bro.
I don't know. I mean, with like a studio like Rooster Teeth and everything, you can still do stuff. I mean, they were most famous among everything for gaming. I mean, that's why people fucking agitate Ray
Red versus
Navarez with Let's Play. Like, yeah, they were also
that's
famous
it.
for Red
Yeah.
versus Blue.
That's another good example, isn't it? That's also indie animation,
Yeah,
as
that's
weird as
a
it
web
sounds.
that's a web series as well, and it was one of the earliest web series that didn't even get its start on YouTube. It was like on another website entirely.
Yeah.
And that's
On another
another thing
website
too. I mean,
entirely.
like, yeah, we can find a lot of these stuff on YouTube, but you think back to the early days of like late 90s, mid 2000s, a lot of these web series and whatnot could be
Listen.
found just on stuff like Newgrounds.
Yeah, all that newgrounds and stuff.
Hmm?
Because YouTube really wasn't the biggest place to do stuff. Like we mentioned Aaron earlier, but you can go and like look at his early videos where he was animating, and he literally did have a joke where he was like, you can watch this video on youtube.com, because he's trying to like overlay for Newgrounds
Yeah.
something, because I was like, yeah, YouTube didn't used to be the common place for animation.
Yeah, it was
Newgrounds did.
Yeah, from 2006 to I'd say 2010, it was just kind of a niche kind of place. And then 2011 and onward, Google really started putting their foot down on privatizing it.
I was like, oh, that's where Markiplier is now.
Yeah, back in the
And then
day,
it
it
just-
was PewDiePie.
And
I
then
know,
it
it's
just-
PewDiePie.
And then it exploded from there.
Hmm.
For better or worse.
At this point, I don't even know who the fucking top fucking YouTuber is. What,
I don't
Snubblewolf?
care. I still watch the people I care about,
Yeah,
and that's
at this
about
point,
it.
it's basically just that. You like at this point, once you get past a certain point with YouTube, at this point, it's literally just find the people you like and just watch their shit.
Stick with them.
They
Fine.
have stopped doing YouTube Rewind, so I don't even know who the fuck is popular, and I don't care.
Also, Markiplier said that if people were able to raise $25,000 for charity, he would do Chapter 6.
I mean, at least he would be playing for charity. That's something.
That's the only way
That's
to work.
I
another
was
thing,
saying,
dude. Like,
that's the thing.
even if it
can't-
even if it isn't animation, dude, Markiplier has his own web series.
Yeah, that was the thing though. I couldn't tell if that was like a joke edit somebody made or whatever. but
Nope,
and
it
it was
was
still
great.
funny.
I mean, JonTron sang a cover of Firework for charity. Song's been
Yeah,
my entire fucking enemy for so long. I cannot and could not sing it. It's, there's other plenty of stuff. Hell, we haven't even talked about like one of the series that TFS of all things did, Fistmaster.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, that's about the extent of it. So, Fistmaster, I've watched it initially, and I think they've pretty much, unfortunately, I think they've given up because I think they've only had one animator for the series, unfortunately, and also COVID hit, so there's that. But initially, fun fact for Fistmaster, they were gonna actually get guest star Mike Polk, the voice of Eggman. They were gonna guest star him. There's even some clips of him roaming around of him as a character in there.
Very unique.
But yeah, Fistar pretty much was it is pretty much in a lot of ways like it shows like Team 4-Star's love for a lot of also a lot of 90s anime and whatnot, because it's a very like Saturday morning shonen battle story about like just just like essentially a family that like just wants to learn martial arts and everything. And it's, I mean, if you look at like the first episode or whatnot, it is very clear kind of who the audience is for. I mean, they have a joke of like they have a joke of her name is Red, I think the older sister Red is like, oh my god, you're learning martial arts in a mall? Yeah, dude, I'm pretty sure you're gonna learn a lot of stuff there. Where the hell is it? Mall cop sees her, just no running in the mall. It's like, oh, sorry, you want me to just speed walk or something? Is that fine? You being funny? I'm watching you. Just drives away slowly on his Segway.
I'm sorry, the way you said that made me think I could see Chameleon.
Yeah, but it's like, again, that just adds the whole thing of like there are so many different web series out there, so many different animated stories, so many different pilots, so many different things, and it's just like it'd be impossible to list all of them without like, I mean, gotta be real, it's impossible to list all of them without having to look all of them up and everything, because there's so many series that like all three of us alone have never seen or even heard of.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, totally. It's even then that's still barely scratching the surface.
Yeah, on everything. I'm just trying to think. It's just like among everything else, it's just like, I don't know. I've been talking about a bunch of web series and whatnot. What do you guys want to bring up?
That's about it. Honestly,
really.
that's about it.
Fuck. Can't really.
I think we're third just about it. Also, guys, can we get like some pats on the back in the comments for like once we stay on topic for an episode?
Holy crap! It's America.
We get some pats on the back for not going off on an entire community and fandom, just fucking passive aggressively.
All right. Actually, yeah, you're right. This could have done all the
This
like
could have easily have been YouTube fans bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, no, like we really stuck. And we really get to topic.
Yeah, you know what?
It's like,
On that
wow.
note, I'll turn it to you guys. Like, what do y'all think? Like, do you have any like animated like web series or animated pilots or whatnot, or indie animation series or whatever that you're like you like or just really enjoyed? Maybe you want us to take a look at something in our spare time, or hell, maybe there's something that's coming out that you really wish got more attention. Like, either way, let us know in the comments.
If y'all can think of something, even if anything obscure, just let us know. That's all we ask.
Hell, I don't know. Maybe next time we might, I don't know. Maybe we might talk about stuff like comics.
Right?
I mean, there's I would like to do one of these days, I don't know, maybe a discussion on like webtoons and manhwas. Just kind of recommending that stuff, because I feel like The catalog is pretty fucking what's the word I'm looking for? Big-breasted and big-thighed for no fucking reason.
Oh yeah, that is a whole thing.
And it's kind of a shame because there's a lot of series out there that honestly aren't really that, and could honestly stand to use more attention.
She breasted boobily down the stairs.
It was the best of times. It was the breast of times.
But if we do decide to do like comics and webtoons, there is one I will go on an absolute tangent over, and Smug knows exactly which one I'm talking about.
Oh, I've got a handful. I don't care if YouTube advertised them early on. I would love to talk about them. There's one in particular that I know for a fact people are just kind of ignoring, and I really would love to talk about.
All right, sounds good.
So yeah, I think ultimately that is gonna do it. And yeah, you know what I was talking about at the beginning, where it's like, yeah, if we were to only talk about Digital Circus, it would have been 50 minutes long. It took us having to talk about all these different pilots and whatnot to get it to almost an hour and a half.
Yep.
Yeah, it would have been probably like 15 minutes long. Like,
Yeah.
do you guys like Digital Circus? Yeah, I liked it.
Not my favorite. It's got problems, but it's all right.
Yeah, it's
I like Bubble, and I like when he does the silly thing.
Hey, like, what do you make me laugh?
Explain to Daddy Bubba how bad thing.
Okay, well, first off, don't say that.
That's it. Here's guns. Have fun.
I didn't say have fun.
It was a little.
Yeah.
Hey, what?
Yeah, use the sights.
I still say one of my favorite edits I've ever done for that, I'll probably put it in the stream, is literally just like the CAINE.
This is a private room where nobody can see or hear you once inside. And this is a loaded gun.
CAINE? Are we robbing a fucking bank?
Nonsense! We're adventuring a bank, Pomni! Keep up!
You're running straight on that. What's just even funnier when you remember that like CAINE probably created that bank. I was like, you're coffee. Just learn to show you how it feels to rob somewhere. Oh, it's the first time CAINE actually takes part in the adventures too.
Yeah, but yeah, that's I think that's ultimately gonna do it at this point.
What are we looking at, Sozo? The consequences of our own actions.
And it's only gonna get worse from here.
Oh boy, that was foreshadowing.
Alright. Yeah, it's gonna do it. This has been the Out on Colors podcast, and I hope you all take care, and see y'all in the next one. Peace.
See you guys.
See you later.
Ain't nobody really know me. Set my squad, my homies. Flow like water, I'm just coasting on that Hosey Brody. Never got time for Hosey, but I ain't never lonely. The only centerfold I got to post it, who I'm gon' be. Rolling on a high seat.